Hello, friends. Matthew Zachary here. You know, you've been told that the American healthcare system is broken. It isn't. It's working exactly as designed. Delays, denials, dehumanization. For decades, it's been profits over patients. You need proof? What's the first question they ask you? What insurance do you have? That tells you everything. And it isn't just big health insurance. It's the American Medical Association. It's labor unions. It's employers, politicians from both sides, and even the IRS. Yes, the IRS. They built it this way. And now it's time we, the patients, rig the system in our favor. Here's the prescription. We, the patients, understanding, navigating, and surviving America's healthcare nightmare. My new book by me, Matthew Zachary, a 30-year brain cancer survivor, the founder of Stupid Cancer, the host of this podcast, Out of Patients, and co-founder and CEO of We the Patients. Pick up your copy of We the Patients today wherever books are sold, or visit wethepatientsbook.com to learn more.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Your coffee would never get cold. Your flight would always be on time. And your mattress would always respond to you and your unique sleep needs. Sleep Number mattresses are designed to respond to your body and shift with your changing life, helping you fall asleep faster and stay asleep longer. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number. To a good night's sleep.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore!
Hello, friends. Welcome back to the show. My guest today is Rebecca Bloom. Rebecca is a former employee benefits lawyer who spent years inside the fluorescent beige Dilbert fever dream of corporate America, learning how insurance, disability coverage, HR policy, and executive benefits actually work before turning all of that knowledge into a survival guide for women with cancer and serious illness. So she talks about something we almost never discuss, honestly, which is that the second you get sick, if you're one of the 160 million Americans that are an employee with employer-based care, you automatically, instantly inherit a second full-time job. Suddenly, you're negotiating with HR, decoding insurance portals that still look like CompuServe, and learning to love all the hold music you never wished you'd have to hear. So we get into why women apologize while actively drowning, why patients become unpaid project managers of their own care, and why even educated people who have insurance with resources still end up at the bottom of the barrel feeling like George Costanza trying to return a defective toaster at Sears in 1994. My name is Matthew Zachary. This is Out of Patients. Let's get started. Rebecca Bloom.
Hello.
I love when it's like, can Matt come out and play? That was today. I was like, okay, stop by. We're taping a show.
Amazing.
Thrilled to have you here.
So glad to be here. Thank you.
I know, like long-time listener, first-time follower, right? Or
exactly.
Is that what it is? Yeah.
Well, call it what you will.
Yeah.
Big fan. Let's say big fan.
No, and I appreciate that. You found out what I'm up to as I'm lurking in the shadows of advocacy for 20 years through some really dear friends.
Yeah, and then I realized you're the man.
You can stay.
Thanks. I think I will.
Yeah, I always like to say that we're born of our condition and no one chooses this shit, and you don't go to advocacy school to have something bad happen to you to know what to do. And fumbling, what was it? The Fumbling Through Ecstasy, that old Sarah, what was that, Sam McLaughlin, whatever that album was?
Yes.
That's how I feel like my life's been. I'm fumbling through ecstasy in some way.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you're having a good time.
Look, you make the most of the time you have, right? I'm well beyond my expiration date.
Yep.
I'm always fascinated talking to people who had careers before the fuckery and how those like Liam Neeson skills fed into your ability to be a badass. I've talked to systems engineers, oncologists, accountants, venture capitalists, and then they get sick and they somehow use their corporate superpowers for good. Lawyer, go.
Yeah, that's exactly how I think about it. I'm like, well, I had to pay off my student loans, so I went to big law. I really didn't know what to choose. I chose this tiny little specialty called employee benefits and compensation. And when I did that, I learned all these things about health insurance and the rest of the so-called safety net that you get when you have a job. Now, granted, there are other aspects of the so-called safety net that aren't employer related, but because of the way America's so screwed up in so many ways, that's the way we are organized, right? So I stayed up all night. I didn't get to do a lot of the stuff I loved doing. I paid off the student loans, and I learned these kind of ninja skills, kind of stuff, maybe some people would say boring, but important, just stuff I didn't know what I was going to do with until I moved to California from New York City. And it seemed like 2 minutes later, but I think it was really 2 years later when my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer. And I came home with my toddler.
And then the sandwich generation caregiver in you ticked on.
Exactly. And it's still going. Yeah. And so we came home to New York, and, my mom is married to the greatest guy ever, my dad. And he's also a lawyer. He's an excellent advocate. He had pretty decent health insurance. I think we all know what that actually means when we
famous last words,
peel
right?
back the layers, right? But there was reason to believe that it was going to be a relatively secure situation with a decent prognosis. And yet there were so many twists and turns. What does this mean? What is an explanation of benefits? How do I get a second opinion before my surgery is actually scheduled?
Right.
Who do I call? Who do I ask? What's covered? What isn't? What is this bill? Am I supposed to pay this bill?
Right.
On and on and on. And I realized right then that randomly what I'd been staying up all night to do mapped almost perfectly to a health journey, which I didn't see coming. We were saying sometimes you follow a path until something happens, and then you go, wait a second, I think it's hero's journey time, right? So that's what I got to. And so I went back to California, and I walked right into a breast and ovarian cancer organization. It actually was mostly breast then because people weren't really living very long with ovarian cancer. They're living longer now. And I said, hey, I just did a thing with my mom that made me realize that I might know something that would be useful to you and your clients. Could I maybe help out? And they really laughed out loud because this is a tiny specialty, like less than 1% of any big law firm has this. So they just thought, well, this doesn't happen every day. And it's almost 30 years later.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've always had umbrage with the term employer benefits. Are they really benefits?
Yeah, they're a cost of doing business
Yes,
from the employer
they are,
side,
exactly.
to be sure. Accessing them and taking advantage of them is an uphill battle, to say the least. So it's there, like all insurance, it's great to have it when you don't actually need it.
Right.
When you need it, you go, oh, there's a few potholes here, maybe
Exactly.
more than a few. Yeah.
I know you read my book, and what I love to point out, whether it's a pattern recognition or whatever it is, jargon in my world is called social determinants of health.
Yeah.
No one knows what an average Joe in an ER, like, fuck what that word means when we talk about it.
Right.
But yeah, that used to mean like your skin color, your zip code, your genetics.
Your social connections.
Now
Yeah.
it's your fucking job and your insurance that controls your outcomes.
There's no question about it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you take two different people with exactly the same disease and the same diagnosis, those social determinants that you mentioned are going to govern the outcome of the journey, quite likely.
Right. But then if the same diagnosis, you work for company A and they work for company B, company A has something, full coverage, comprehensive these, and the company B doesn't.
Yeah.
But no one, I'm not going to say, actually, that's a broad brush. All right. They say like 80% of stats are made up on the spot. I think that's an Ellen DeGeneres quote.
Yeah.
Is there any way to quantify how many people shop for jobs based on benefits, or they just want to pay the rent?
Most of the time, they just want to pay the rent. I think we may have a little generational shift there. I think younger people are more likely to just work for the benefits.
Right.
I think my generation, nobody thought that. It was all about paying the rent or paying off the student loans, as I said, and then the benefits were whatever they were. And I still see that happen sometimes. I mean, especially, look, a job market gets tight. How much shopping are you really doing compared to taking the job that is gonna pay the rent first and foremost?
Yeah.
There's not always so many choices.
Well, with 160 million Americans under employer-based care,
Yeah.
is there still, I mean, I assume you're qualified to answer the question, is there still this morale thing going on at the top where they care about their employees being healthy so they make money?
So I think we've got to put a finer point on that.
Okay.
I think HR professionals are charged with the responsibility of making sure that employees are comfortable and happy and have what they need to be healthy so that they can keep working. For the simple reason that it costs more to replace them.
Yeah.
Right? That's their job. If you ask me if a CEO is thinking about that, I'm going to say 9 times out of 10, not really.
Mm-hmm. I asked that because I'm on my wife's plan, and it's a crappy plan. It's good enough, I say. It's goodish. I think I used that term in the book. It was goodish.
Goodish, yes.
And but they employ additional people as like these healthcare navigator docents to help 30,000 people unravel the nonsense when they need to use the benefits.
Well, I'm glad that they do.
Yes.
Because I wish we could get to a place where that was normalized. I mean, you talk about this being the year of the advocate.
Yeah.
I think this is the age of the advocate. We can't unravel this complexity alone. Nobody can. I mean, I work with law professors and doctors who say, I don't know what this means.
Right.
So I think that, I have an employee benefits background. So I think everybody should do that. But also I have to ask myself, are they good? Do you find that they're useful? Are they helpful? Do they do a good job? Are they well trained? Do we know? Because there's a lot.
And how is that measured?
I don't know.
It's not like you keep getting like continuing ed doing that person.
I mean, it's funny. There are a couple of programs out there I've heard of that you can sort of certify as
certified board,
a health advocate,
certified patient advocates. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a little like being a paralegal, right?
Yeah.
Like you're either good at it or you're not good at it. And like, do you need a certificate? Is that really the thing?
Right.
Probably not. I think it's more what we said before. Like, do you have some lived experience, some ninja skills in your pocket that you can use to be a good advocate?
Well, my umbrage with the board certified patient advocates is that they're concierge.
Yeah.
And only in America do you have to pay someone to help you get on fucking healthcare.
Right.
If that person happens to work for your employer, that's great. But we both agree that shouldn't exist in the first place because it's already just evidence of abject failure.
Exactly right. And also, let's look at it carefully, right? Somewhere along the line, it is the patient who pays. It's just a question of how they pay.
Yeah.
Whether it's a little bit lower salary, whether it's a little less PTO, it all comes out in the wash, right?
It does.
Yeah.
Because we're not the end user.
No, we're
like the residual.
Yeah, and we're the ones who sneeze on all that budget dust.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, in a country where you're cheap or dead.
That's right.
That's this country.
It is this country.
It's terribly tragic.
Yes.
I'm also like, I was just doing some kind of podcast or some panel about how no country has it right, but what's least worst and then what's most plausible.
Right.
Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, I do. I think that places like England and Canada, there's things you could say about how slow it is. There's things you could say about access, no question about it. But at least there's a floor that everybody gets to stand on together. Maybe it's not the whole ceiling. Maybe not everybody gets the fast track this, the let's fly to Switzerland for that, all those extra.
Get my candies in Peru.
Right, exactly. All those extra perks. You can't make that work from a plausibility standpoint. But I do think economically, and there are economists who've written books on this, it suggests that you really could do better by having a stable floor where everybody has a baseline of basic care. I mean, if you look at the way people overuse things like ERs, who do you think is paying for that in the end? We're all paying for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The middle class.
Yes. Such as it is.
You're right that you help women survive benefit systems.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Listen, there's no such thing as an easy health journey. I've never seen one. I've been in rooms full of women touring this book saying, raise your hand if you've ever had a perfect health journey. Not one hand goes up. There's no such thing. No matter what privilege you think you might be walking into it with, there's going to be potholes. There's going to be sidebars. There's going to be complexities you didn't see coming. There's going to be two doctors who say different things and nobody to be the ombudswoman to tell you what to do about it. No matter what, it's hard and it's stressful. And it's a 360 situation too. It's health space, it's workplace, it's your community. It's how do you fit inside of the societal structure. It's big for anybody.
Right.
It's vulnerable and it's hard. So yeah, I got to do it. That's what I was born to do.
I'm going to ask you sort of a more of a gimme question. I'm getting into women's health a lot, apparently, on the show. Ever since I discovered this, like, Oz that's colored. I'm surprised that there were women with fuckery going on.
Oh,
Clearly,
gosh.
I'm aware of this, married and whatever.
Yeah.
But it's such an extraordinarily underrepresented movement, but it's there now.
Yeah.
And I'm always going through the lens of history.
Yeah.
In oncology specifically, we all just kind of died.
Yeah.
And now we kind of live.
Yeah.
With different problems to have. And over the course of that time, we realize, you're living and you're black.
Yeah.
You're living and you're gay.
Yeah.
You're living and you have 2 X chromosomes.
Yes.
Right? And finally, we now realize that I think women have wallets. African-American community has wallets.
Sure.
We're still consumers that need help.
Yes.
Did you discover this along the way, or did you kind of land into this movement as it was just getting started?
Well, I discovered it along the way, and I actually thought I was alone because I was working out in California at this organization I mentioned. It's called Bay Area Cancer Connections. And I felt like, okay, here's a submarine. It's sinking. I have 10 fingers. I'm just going to stick as many fingers into the holes as I can.
How Bugs Bunny of you.
Exactly. And I'm just like trying to keep it floating, right?
Yeah.
And not going lower and lower. And it's only in the last couple of years since we're hearing so much more about the menopause movement, we're finally understanding those factoids about the research gap. We're hearing all these different ways. Women are not small men. I don't have to tell you the mantras. You've heard them all. And people are doing a wonderful job. There's so many great women in PR. There's so many great women in medicine. There's so many great women in business. Finally, people are starting to link arms and come together and say, hey, if we all work together on this, we can actually move the needle. Like I work with this organization you may have heard of called Women's Health Advocates in Washington, and led by Liz Powell, who's just so brilliant.
I'm waiting for her to show up in the hot seat.
Oh, she's brilliant.
She's queued up at some point.
Yeah, she's fantastic. And all of a sudden, we've got leaders, we've got rhetoric, we've got organization. We're starting to get to a place where the big A advocacy, as we call it, is happening, which is changing the policies, changing the laws. Then we got to have the little A advocacy. And, that's what I do. Right. And there's nothing little about it. Walking a human being through the impossible is not little. It's big.
Yeah.
So, now there's this feeling of momentum. And, with the political headwinds that we're dealing with, that seems almost impossible to be true, but it is true.
Yeah. Because it's money.
Well,
we can make money off women's health now.
Well, that's actually true, too. I mean, the consulting firms and the VCs and everybody's jumping on board because they're realizing, hey, this is not a charitable endeavor.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
I think where I'm drawing lots of parallels and learning more about WHA is that I was once told that collaboration is the new competition. Mm-hmm. And this all started back in Livestrong era.
Yeah.
When everything was very body part siloed.
Yeah.
And no one would talk to anyone, and you're only raising money for this body part. and that body part go fuck yourself. And,
Right.
And Stupid Cancer was like this sort of Unitarian church of agnostic body parts.
Yes.
Where no one who gave us money, no one who supported us, no one who joined our movement cared whether you were missing a ball or a boob.
Right.
We were just pissed together.
Exactly.
And that was the mechanism that brought Stupid Cancer to become the umbrella of everything in survivorship, mostly for young adults.
Yeah.
So I feel like this, you got the endo groups here and the breast groups here and the
Absolutely.
menopause groups here and the
Ovarian.
and everything bad and wrong with women's biology under this beautiful tent.
Yeah, you're right. We're pissed together. That's a great way to say it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are.
I really like that.
Yeah.
So meeting Liz Powell, she's kind of a dynamo.
Yes.
Did you realize you could be an advocate, or you just were like flotsaming through trying to help people? And what that word even means.
Well, that's the funny thing, right? The word advocate, I'm a lawyer. I've always been an advocate.
Yeah.
I used to get paid a lot of money to be an advocate for somebody's position, right? What's my job? My job is to speak to your interests and try to further them, right? That's what it means to be an advocate.
Were you a public defender? What did you do?
No, I did big law.
Okay.
Yeah. The student loan machine got to me.
Right.
And, I had done some really interesting like legal aid internships and, other things like that too. But my heart would have been to do that from the jump, but that wasn't my fate, even though it was my heart. So, so I started woman to woman, one journey at a time. And that's why I was so excited to collide with people like Liz and
where have you
Women's
been?
Health Advocate. Well, that's literally how it happened. I mean, I was doing a fundraiser for a really great organization called After Breast Cancer Diagnosis, ABCD, which is they train and match mentors with women going through breast cancer based on the ins and outs of the diagnostics and other commonalities, right? And I did not know that Liz Powell was there in the audience. It was in Washington, D.C., and the question that came to me was, what gives you hope? And I just started rhapsodizing. And then I found out she was in the room. And it was like Elvis was to the left. It was incredible. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's a good place to take a quick break. When we come back, we have to talk about cookbooks. We'll leave the listeners on a cliffhanger.
Fair enough.
All right. We'll be right back.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Your coffee would never get cold. Your flight would always be on time. And your mattress would always respond to you and your unique sleep needs. Sleep Number mattresses are designed to respond to your body and shift with your changing life, helping you fall asleep faster and stay asleep longer. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number. To a good life sleep. If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Your coffee would never get cold. Your flight would always be on time. And your mattress would always respond to you and your unique sleep needs. Sleep Number mattresses are designed to respond to your body and shift with your changing life, helping you fall asleep faster and stay asleep longer. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number. To a good life sleep.
So what the hell is the anti-cookbook?
Well,
I'm dragging out everything.
Okay, you looked me up.
I did. Did my homework.
Yeah. So the anti-cookbook is something I worked on with one of my darling college friends and roommates. And it was based on a book that we both gave to our kids when they were little called the Anti-Coloring Book.
Oh.
The idea being, don't color in the lines, create. So that's
Was it a blank piece of paper?
Well, not so much, but more like an art prompt,
Okay,
instead
got it.
of just outside the box kind of thinking.
Sure.
So we came together to do this. We were both doing different writing projects. We came together to do this because our two eldest were just getting out of college and they were both moving to New York City. And we thought to ourselves, okay, these kids are really smart, but they're they're excellent sheep, as it were.
Yeah.
You know,
Excellent sheep.
Yeah, they haven't
Wow.
had kitchens.
Yeah.
What are they going to do when they move to New York City besides go broke? If we don't say to them, hey, here's the 20 things you need in your kitchen, and here's the 50 things you can make yourself with them.
Isn't that basic home economics?
Basically, it is.
Which we learned and they didn't.
Yes, we learned it and they didn't. I was a terrible home economics student. Really bad. My grandmother had to sew my skirt for me. I just couldn't do it.
All right.
But yeah, we didn't want them out in the wilds ordering DoorDash and going broke and being unhealthy.
Right.
So we decided, let's write a cookbook together. Let's just do it. So we did lists of recipes. We wrapped them in stories. And we self-published, but we did really well with it because we hit on something that nobody had done, which is, what do you do for this population of people who literally haven't had a hot minute to make a waffle unless it was frozen in the toaster? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's all they knew how to do. And they were so busy being excellent and achieving that they didn't really have a blueprint for how to do this stuff. And they were always in the car running hither and yon to whatever sort of extracurriculars they were doing. They didn't really have that domestic training, as it were.
Yeah.
And I mean, her kid was a son, mine was a daughter, but there's even a chapter in that book that's all text messages between me and my daughter when she first moved to New York City. Things like, how many minutes to boil an egg? Do you not have the Google? Like that type of stuff,
Wow. All right.
Just, and again,
It's teach a man to fish.
Well, yeah.
Sorry, teach a person to fish.
That's right.
It's 2026.
Right. And I mean, we're from the helicopter parent generation where our kids just text us every question, So
What, did it work?
Yeah, it really did.
You created self-sustaining children?
Both of my children are phenomenal cooks.
Wow.
And bakers. They're incredible. So yeah, it worked. Yeah.
I'm going to request a copy.
I'll send you one. No problem.
So speaking of publishing, your book, When Women Get Sick, not why, how, or where.
Yeah.
Why a book? That's always the author question, right?
Yeah. And I'll tell you the truth. I really wasn't planning to do a book. I am a storytelling coach. I do work with other writers. I have a lot of experience with nonfiction.
Well, as a lawyer, comms really well.
Well, that's true too. I think of myself as a professional communicator after all. Yeah. But I started to see that there was a confluence of issues going on in this country where some of women's rights felt like they were receding when I expected them to be marching on. Mm-hmm. And I have 2 adult daughters, and I thought, well, I really want their generation to be empowered.
And your mom and your sister.
And my mom and my sister are both cancer survivors. And I just thought the work that I've done at Bay Area Cancer Connections has been wonderful and I know helpful and certainly satisfying to me in following my purpose here on earth. But if I helped a few thousand, I wanted to help more than a few thousand. I thought this was the time to do it. And I knew how to do a book. So I thought, why not use those ninja skills too? Right?
It's like a bat belt.
Yeah.
What the hell else is in there? I was listening to one of the shows you did with the New York Medical College.
Yeah.
Nerd show, basically.
Yeah.
Total. I mean, you've done a few others with humans.
Yeah.
These are with academic people.
Yeah.
But I think where I saw a pattern goes back to how you shouldn't have to be a lawyer to get unscrewed.
You shouldn't.
Right. You're very consistent in that narrative.
But it helps.
But how is that received? I feel like I've been saying the same damn thing. Like, I didn't go to cancer college, like I said at the top of the show, to get sick one day and know what to do.
Yeah.
It's who's protecting.
Yeah.
Who's protecting people? Of course, you're not going to be a lawyer.
Right.
You're not going to just be, my umbrage also, twice I've used that word in the show, is with just be your own advocate.
Right.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think you can be, but I think it helps to have some learnings in your hand. That's another reason why I wrote this book. And that's why your book is so powerful and important, because people don't know what they don't know. And inside of the medical system, they aren't told a lot of things. And it's nobody's fault. There's no one actor you can point to and blame. Okay, maybe third-party payers. Yes, you could blame them. But a doctor might say, this is what we offer here. That might not be all the things that are offered. It might not even be all the things that are covered. It might just be the things that are covered and offered in that one medical place, right?
And not across the street.
And not across the street. You don't know. I mean, people don't know things like how easy it actually is to win an appeal. It's really not that hard, Matthew.
I just had this. This is like the bane of my existence is that, and I believe this is the actual stat, maybe oncology only, but 80% of denials that are appealed are overturned, but 0.02% of denials are even appealed.
Yeah, that sounds about right to me. I think the 80% is higher in oncology than it is generally.
Yeah.
But I tell people you have at least a 50-50 on the first shot. And if you keep going, it keeps getting higher.
But they want that to be the case because
Yeah.
it's like, I'm not going to call the car dealership. They're bothering me for this.
Yeah.
I'll just lazy out because who has the time? And they count on you not having the time.
Oh, yeah.
So who can, I mean, it's like the intervention that you need that you shouldn't have to have. And this kind of goes back to where my wife's employer has that person.
Right.
That can help make these things happen in an accelerated way.
Yeah.
Because the employer is savvy enough. I'll use the Yiddish word. They have the seichel.
So, yeah, that's the word. I was thinking it.
Just to have it because they know they're going to get screwed.
That's right. Yeah, no, that's right. And listen, those employers aren't dumb either.
No.
If their choice is to have your wife work for 3 hours for them or be on the phone with her health insurance company for 3 hours, what do you think they will choose?
Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also have learned, again, it's just been such a fabulous rabbit hole to see that, yes, clearly major differences. Men don't get menopause kind of shit. But what I'm genuinely surprised by is that, you know, men want to walk it off. I'll wait till there's a problem. But that also happens in the other gender.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I mean, you know, without being too stereotypical, women aren't really wired to put themselves first.
It's the maternal stuff, right? Everyone else first.
Yeah, I mean, do you know your brain changes after you have a kid? I just read this recently. Apparently,
does it evaporate?
No, you're put on. Your brain goes to hypervigilance, and you sleep less well for the rest.
You're worried
for the rest of your life because you're on high alert because you have a child. Isn't that?
And you don't want them eaten by a bear.
Well, that's it.
Yeah,
exactly right. So, yeah, I mean, it is a challenge for women, I think, to say, I need care, I need help, I need support. I have a pain. This is how it feels. Also, there's a loop of dismissal and there's a defensiveness that we feel because we're told that we're hysterical so often. I mean, doctors write it down. It's
Get
in
a grip,
notes.
lady.
Right. And so when you have all that, you walk in going, I want to appear to not be hysterical and needy because I don't want to be part of that loop where I get dismissed.
Right. But that also speaks to the maternal instinct is, I'm sorry I'm going through this. I don't want to, like, the apology to be a burden.
Yeah. Yeah. Girl, stop apologizing.
Yes.
There's that book. And no, it's definitely true. And also just, we want our doctors to like us. There's a lot of stuff like that.
There's a validity thing there?
Yeah, there is.
Do you feel like female doctors have better connections?
Generally, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing, again,
there's no broad brush.
No generalization is ever 100% correct. But there's a reason that a generalization germinated, right?
Right.
So, yes, I do, because especially the women doctors I know, they've been patients too. Yeah. There's nothing like being a patient to really think empathetically about how the person on the other side of the table is feeling.
So what are some very specific, concrete things you've actually helped someone do when you intervene?
Okay. So first off, I help patients be better patients. I help them really think through how to communicate with their doctors. And that's not nothing. It makes a difference I interviewed a lot of doctors in my book because I wanted their perspective on it. And you treat them with respect. You ask them how they want you to communicate with them. You ask them what constitutes an emergency in their world. All those things make a huge difference. How does their practice run? Who do they want you to call and when? Do they like the electronic health records? Do they not like the electronic health records? All these things make a huge difference. So that's one thing I spend a lot of time on. But the lion's share of my time is helping women tame the insurance beast.
Yeah.
I mean, what else is there to do? That's the giant challenge. Everything else is human actors and human actors most of the time. But we're talking about entity level, to use your phrase, fuckery.
Yeah.
It is. And like you say,
I didn't really invent that phrase, but yeah, I'm owning the phrase.
I own it. Own it, Matthew. Own it. Yeah. I mean, it is so entrenched at this point that it's like Knives Out. You got to go.
Yeah.
If you're going to do this right, you just have to know that you can't take no for an answer. You can't think that the first thing you hear is the end of the road. And you just have to have this enormous amount of patience. And that's really just at the moment when you're stressed out and worried about your health and worried about your kids and worried about your life and whatever else you're worried about. Is this the moment when you're supposed to summon gargantuan patience? I mean, does that make sense? No. Right. And yet that's how it works.
One of my, I'm going to say umbrage a third time, with the original Live Strong manifesto, back when you could say that word.
Yeah.
Hashtag no manifestos anymore.
Right.
Do we still say hashtags? I'm so old.
I think we do, but it's almost in quotes now.
Yeah, hashtags in quotes.
Yeah.
So like when we kick in the day you're diagnosed.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
Diarrhea kicks in the day you're diagnosed.
Of course.
So when you don't realize you're getting actively screwed as an employee of a company with a benefits package, how does that employee know that you exist, benefits? Do people just know to go to their HR people?
Well, sometimes they do. Often they don't. What I find, and this is because of my experience and how I came to this work, is most people don't figure it out until they go to like a disease-specific organization, or maybe they talk to somebody on the inside, like that really smart, amazing hospital social worker,
right,
or that nurse practitioner who says, if you do it this way, this would happen. And there's a person you could call. There are these...
The loophole people.
Yes, the loophole people. And disease-specific organizations, you mentioned siloing, and I agree that isn't always the best for pushing a movement forward to have everybody in
there's a need for the verticals. They exist with intention.
Yes.
And nicheness, is that a word?
Yeah. But I do find that they do have infrastructure inside of these organizations. Mm-hmm. There's always a research person who really knows all the studies and who's paying for what and which doctors are the ones that have wait lists and don't, those specific things in specific communities. And, they also usually have a me. Now, a lot of people are telling me that the me is getting professionalized.
There's only one you.
Well, you're so sweet. I mean, how do you know?
Right.
But yeah, I mean, they tend to have folks, maybe they're not as seasoned as I am, but they tend to have like buddy system, matching systems, and things like that inside these organizations. HR can be somewhat helpful, but to your point of siloing, that's another place where you see it. Workplace is workplace. Health space is health space. You can't ask somebody at the hospital about what your benefits are that you get from your employer.
Nope.
They don't know.
No.
And you can't ask somebody in HR if they have any idea which hospital system will XYZ.
Or what treatment's cheaper on what corner.
Right. They don't know. They don't know.
Because there's no fucking transparency.
Exactly.
What are some of the other things people can learn by reading your book?
Well, sort of at the high level, philosophically, I want people to learn that help is actually available. From my perspective, no woman needs to go on a health journey alone. It is so freaking lonely to be ill. I don't have to tell you.
I know nothing of this.
Nothing. Right.
Nothing.
I see nothing. I know nothing. Right, exactly. That's the high level thing. But then there's a lot of little tips that really do make a difference, like I mentioned disease-specific organizations. Let's say you can't get into your doctor of choice because wait list, yo.
Yeah.
Hashtag wait list, right?
Back to hashtags.
Yeah, exactly. You knew I was going to do it. Okay, so they have advisory boards. Every single one of these organizations has an advisory board. You know who's on them? The leading doctors in the field. Always. What does that mean? It means the executive director and the other staff at the organization have a line into those doctors. Boom.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's such a machine.
It is.
Only in America.
It is. There's so many levers to pull. I mean, that's why I say every chapter in my book has a list of tips and takeaways, so I don't have to vomit them all at you right now.
You need the dummies guides. The dummies guides come in really handy.
Yeah. Yeah.
You had used a phrase, you were on the Uplifters podcast, and yes, I watched it, but you were able to like brilliantly sum up the theme of you shouldn't have to be PhD and all this shit. And it just goes back to you said the invisible labor of illness.
Yeah.
That's everything.
Yeah.
Like you solve the problem. Here's how we talk about it.
Yeah.
The invisible labor that I think is just ignored by the system.
Well, it's a full-time job, and so is healing.
Yes.
So how are you supposed to do both at the same time?
With parents and kids.
Yeah, with parents and kids.
Yeah.
And a dog, maybe. Yeah.
You have a dog?
I do.
What kind of dog?
He's a mini Labradoodle.
A Labradoodle. Those are the little fuzzy ones, right?
Yeah, he's
with
fuzzy.
like the Jufro.
Yep, exactly.
What's the name?
His name is Wesley.
Okay.
Yeah, name for the prince and the princess bride.
As you wish.
Yes. My Wesley will come for me.
That was Rob Reiner's greatest hit. It invented Touchstone, and that made him who he was.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Please never remake The Princess Bride.
Please don't.
Rip Rob Reiner, but like whoever's listening from Hollywood, because they are, of course.
Yeah.
Please never remake The Princess Bride.
Do not.
You heard it from two consummate board-certified Gen Xers right here.
And there's only one Miracle Max.
Yes. Yeah. He's still around. Good. We'll take it.
Yes.
Take it. All right. On to the bonus round.
Yeah.
You know where we're going with this?
Vaguely.
Okay. I ask AI a question about you, and I feed it information about you, and I tell it about you, and I opine ode-like into it.
This is terrifying.
Yeah. And I ask it the following question. I say, if you were a Netflix series, what 3 pop culture icons would embody your character?
And what did they say?
You are Elaine Bennis from Seinfeld. And here's why. Fast brain, zero patience for absurd social behavior, constant low-grade disbelief that supposedly functional adults keep making everything harder than necessary. You carry a very specific flavor of intelligent female exhaustion that Elaine perfected somewhere between dealing with Jay Peterman and the soup Nazi.
And I do love a big salad.
Yes, very nice.
Perfect.
You are Roz Doyle from Frasier.
Wow.
Yes. Competent adult energy, emotionally fluent without turning sentimental, handles other people's chaos while quietly carrying her own. You have that same I've seen enough nonsense to stop being surprised by it presence, mixed with warmth and practical realism.
Oh my goodness. And the zingers.
Yep.
I love it.
And you are Patty Hughes from Damages.
Wow.
You have the same controlled intelligence that comes from understanding systems as power structures instead of ideals. Contracts, liability, incentives, and institutional self-preservation. The difference is that Patty weaponized the law while you use it to keep women from getting crushed by paperwork during illness.
Thank goodness for the difference.
Yes.
Vive la difference.
Vive la. So Patty Hughes, Elaine Bennis, and Roz Doyle. Congratulations. You win a prize.
Oh my gosh. That is a prize.
Your prize
right there.
is the paper.
I
You
can't
can
wait.
keep the paper.
Great. I can take it with me.
Yes,
Amazing.
Definitely. All right. Rebecca Bloom is the author of Why, When, If, How. When Women Get Sick, available wherever books are sold. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you so much, Matthew. This was so much fun.
All the stuff in the show notes, folks. We'll see you back here next time. Take care. Bye-bye.
Out of Patience with Matthew Zachary is a production of Matthew Zachary Worldwide. The executive producer is Matthew Zachary. It is mixed and edited by Kyle Moore. If you like the show, ratings and reviews are always welcome wherever you get your podcasts. If you have guest suggestions or would like to learn more about sponsorship opportunities, email podcast@matthewzachary.com. For more information about Matthew Zachary and Matthew Zachary Worldwide, visit matthewzachary.com.